Hey guys, Potato McWhiskey here, and I wanted to make this short video to kind of talk about my thoughts on the draft payout and the expert queue payouts in general. So the current system of payouts, how it works is that 64 players pay in $64. You know, it's $1 each. It's 99 cents. I'm rounding up for simplicity's sake. So everyone pays in $1 to play, and you know, you go down through the bracket. I have it broken down here, and here's a visualization of it. So 16 players are going to go 0-2 on average if you have 64 players in a sort of draft slash basically any sort of expert 5-win style tournament. So 16 players are going to go 0-2, 16 players are going to go 1-2, 12 players are going to go 2-2, and none of these players are going to get anything in terms of rewards. They spent their $1 and they come out with 0. Now we get to the 3-2 players who win 3 games. They're essentially going to break even. They're going to make their money back. They're going to have played for free, essentially. They're going to get their ticket back and they can roll again. Then you have the players who go 4-2. That is going to be 5 people out of a 64 pool. They will get 1 ticket and 1 pack, and a ticket is worth $1, a pack is worth $2, so they're going to come out with $15 in terms of rewards. Then you have the people who get to 5 wins. It looks like 7 players are going to get to 5 wins, and they're going to get 1 ticket and 2 packs. So, you know, that's a pretty generous reward system, I would say. I do think that it's very tilted towards the top end of the things. So the total payout, if you add all this up, is that there's a $58 payout for a 64 buy-in. So Valve makes a profit of about $6. We're using rounded numbers here. So Valve makes just shy of 10%. That's 9.3%, 9.4 round up here. They make about a 9.4% of the money that's paid in. Valve just kind of takes out of the system, which is all well and good. I think that's actually a fairly reasonable cut. You know, I think they're actually quite generous here. I think a lot of us were expecting somewhere closer to like 30% of the money going in, but you know, 9.4% is very, very generous in my opinion. So the key points about this system is that 44 players who played get nothing. So of the 64 players, 44 players get nothing. And I think what we really want to talk about are these players right here. The players who actually won a game and still got nothing. This is something that I feel like the Hearthstone Arena did quite well. Even if you didn't do quite so well, you maybe won a couple of games, you got a couple of small rewards, and that actually felt quite good. I think this system does a really, really good job of rewarding players who hit that 3 and up sort of wins, but it really doesn't feel good for the players who won a game and then it's just like, oh, you lost 2 games and you just get nothing. So I wanted to make a suggestion that instead of just having 8 players break even and 12 players, you know, make massive profits, we could have a system where we implement a thing called recycle credits. Now, what are recycle credits? Well, 1 recycle credit is essentially the same as recycling any card in the game. You know, the current system in the game is if you recycle 20 cards, you get a event ticket back. So $1 divided by 20, that's about 5 cents. So a single recycle credit would be worth about 5 cents. And what we could do is every time you win a game, you get a recycle credit in draft. And what this would do is it would just give you something small, something not necessarily meaningless, but something, you know, has a little bit of value. And every now and again, when you have a few crappy games and maybe you get a pack here and there and you recycle some cards, you'll get an event ticket for free. So the idea is if you get a win, you get a recycle ticket. So the people who go 0-2, I think it's fair they get nothing, right? You bought in, you lost, you get nothing, as Axe would say. Now, I do think the people who at least win a game should get something, right? That's something I feel pretty strongly about, because it doesn't feel good to be the person who gets nothing. Like, fair enough, if you go 0-2, you didn't win a game, you gambled and lost, okay. But I feel like if you won a game, you should at least get like a little token. You know, here's your recycle token. You made an effort, good job, you won a game. Not good enough, but here's a sort of quasi-participation reward. So they would get a recycle credit. And the people who win 2 games, they would get 2 recycle credits. Now, recycle credit, as I said earlier, is worth about 5 cents. So that would mean you would have to add another about $2.4 to the total payout, which would bring the total payout up to $60.4. This would cut into Valve's profit pretty significantly. It's almost cutting their profit in half, really. But I think the advantages of this system are that players who win a game, even if they don't reach that critical 3 wins, they at least get something. It was actually very hard for me to come up with numbers for this because of how tightly Valve is paying out, like how tight their profit margin is. There wasn't really much wiggle room for me to insert recycle credits. What I had really hoped was that if you got a win, you would get 5 recycle credits, and if you got 2 wins, you get 10. So basically, if you get a win, you get about a quarter of a ticket. If you get 2 wins, you get about a half a ticket. You get 3 wins, you get a full ticket. There you go. But that's not really quite possible. I did the numbers, and that would actually, lead to Valve losing out on money. Now, I'm not saying this is exactly what Valve should do. I'm saying this is something along the lines of what I'd like to see Valve consider for rewarding these players right here. The people who actually win a game in expert play, but then lose 2 games, right? Because it just doesn't feel very good to have won a game in a sort of tournament and just walk away with nothing. And I mean, I know that's fairly standard for any sort of competitive thing, but does it really cost Valve that much to throw a recycle credit at these players, and maybe every few weeks they might get a free event ticket? And I think overall what this will lead to is more people playing draft or draft and, well, expert. I keep calling it draft because I only play draft, but expert play, right? So the key points of this one are 16 players still get nothing, but 28 players who did get wins get recycle credits, which it's not really much of a reward, but is a reward. And I think that's a lot nicer than just, winning a game and walking away with 0. If you win a hand in poker, you can walk away with, however much you made in that hand and you're good to go. But you win a quote unquote hand in Artifact, and then you go on to lose 2 hands and you're just out, which is, maybe poker's not the right analogy there because generally speaking, it's like an all or nothing game. But still, my point is that this is a digital kind of card game and it is expert play, but I feel like we should encourage even casual players who might not able to be consistently hitting that 3.2 mark. Maybe you'll only win 1 to 2 games. You should get something. I just feel like it would make the entire experience for these 28 players a lot better. Now, to be fair, there's still 16 players are getting shafted, but I think it's better to shaft 16 players and give 28 players a little gift than it is to shaft 44 players. So that's kind of my thoughts. I'm not saying this, now again, I just want to clarify, I'm not saying this is exactly what they should do, but I think this is along the lines of what they should consider doing moving forward with the rewards for expert play. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you have any suggestions to modify this, or maybe an even alternative or better suggestion. I just really think that the lack of payout for these people here who are getting wins is a little bit of a problem, and I'd love to see that addressed. All right, I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.